is up, freaky people? My name is Abby. My artist name is Aeropsia. This is a podcast about all of the artsy fartsy things that I get up to, and I'm glad you're here. So it's the end of December. I haven't worked on any paintings at all this month. That's okay, whatever. Such is life. I've done quite a bit of knitting, I think, since the last time I saw you. I have some finished objects to share, and then some progress on knitting and one sewing project. So I guess I'll start with finished objects, whatever. So to start off, I have Sharon's scarf that I have been working on since, I don't know, August or something. Yeah, it's a DK weight scarf, so it took forever, but it's done. It's blocked. I don't know if you can see the ribbing. There we go. That color is fairly true. It's a little too blue, too bright. It's a little more purple than that, but the fabric looks fantastic. It is a superwash, so it's probably rustling. That's my problem. I always forget. So I was actually able to finish this in time, which is super exciting. Our friends are coming to visit for New Year's Eve, so this is done in time, and yeah, it's great. Second time I knit it. Done. Over it. All right. So my second finished object is the Totally Tessellated Socks by Andrea Mowry. I finished the first one during the knit along, and so that was about 4 days, and they were shorty socks, so that's the only reason that I was able to do this in 4 days. Do that in 4 days, whatever. But yeah, I love the pattern. It was a lot of fun, and so I did end up finishing the second sock also the next week. So this is a 2-week project. It is like the only thing that I worked on for those 2 weeks. But yeah, so let's see. What do I wish I did different? I wish that I had done the cuff the same color as the heel and toe. I don't like that. That was what the pattern said to do, so that's what I did. But next time I knit it, yeah, I'll definitely make the cuff match the heel and toe. This was my first time doing any color work. First time doing mosaic knitting. There is like the slightest, you can just sort of tell where, I don't know, the two sides are. It didn't like quite ladder, but yeah, I can see it, I think. These are super comfy. They have a lot of silk in them because the mohair has silk, and then this kind of DK sport weight merino has silk in it. And so they are super soft and cozy, and I love that about them. They're a little bit thicker than a normal sock, but they do still fit into a pair of shoes if I wanted to wear them with shoes. I really like how the pinks toned down this rainbow. And I'll show you the inside too. So that's what my insides look like. Pretty good, I think. Pretty even tension. My heels don't have holes in them. My toes don't have holes in them. That's super exciting. I really liked this increase. The heels and toes have the same construction. The heel just has like one extra stitch at the beginning or something like that. Yeah, but I really like this increase. It's nice and thick and chunky. I think it looks great. So I think in the pattern it says that this is an afterthought heel, but I was like looking up different heel styles after I had started knitting this, and I think this is actually a forethought heel, because you do put stitches on hold and then you continue knitting. So you decide where your heel is going to be and then you continue knitting the tube for the sock. And then you come back later and you take out your waste yarn and everything, put the stitches back on the needles, and then you knit the heel from there. And then an afterthought heel is you just knit the tube and then you like cut into the knitting, I think. Could be wrong. But anyway, I liked waiting to do the heel. That for sure I liked. But I don't know that I like how this heel fits my foot. Yeah, so the increases work really well on the toe because, you know, your toes are not a flat thing. They are a three-dimensional object. So I do like how that fits. Your heel obviously is a three-dimensional object also, but the way that this is, I don't know, whatever. It just doesn't fit on my heel as well as I think it fits on my toe. I don't even know what type of heel this is. Like, is it a wedge heel? Because this is like, I don't know, a wedge toe? I don't know. But yeah, so I would probably not do the chunky increases on the heel the next time that I knit this pattern. I'm sure I'll knit this pattern again. This is super cute. And it was a lot of fun, and it went by really quickly because of the heavier weight of yarn, I think. I loved this pattern. It was a lot of fun. Highly recommend for a beginner mosaic knitting pattern. That was really straightforward, easy to do. Nothing complicated. God, I love this yarn. It has so much definition. It's so nice. But it's merino, so I'm not gonna buy it again. I also washed these in the washing machine after I wore them the first time, and I did not dry them in the dryer. I just washed them and then I took them out and hung them up to dry. They didn't felt or anything. It seems fine. The only superwash yarn is the rainbow yarn. The rest of it is not superwash, but they're socks. So I'm not gonna pretend that I'm gonna hand wash my socks unless I like absolutely have to. And yeah, as of now, I do not absolutely have to. Totally Tessellated Socks, finished. I told you what yarns I used last time and what needles I used. The needles that I used were super cheap. I don't remember the brand at all. They were wooden though. I wanted to try wooden needles for socks because the other needles that I like to use are wood. And when I bought my sock needles, the Chow-Goos, I wanted wooden needles. And so I wanted to see if Chow-Goo had wooden needles, and they did. But for some stupid reason, the bamboo needles have like a little bobble on the end at the join, like here. That's smooth, and then for some reason on their wooden needles they have like a bubble here, and I don't want that for anything. Definitely not for a small gauge needle like a sock needle, because I need to get the stitches over that damn thing like over and over and constantly. So I didn't buy those. I bought the, I don't know, the metal tips, whatever they are, and they're fine. But I just don't like metal needles. They like hurt my fingers a lot. They're not as bendy and forgiving as wooden needles. So I think eventually I'm gonna get the Luca blush wooden needles for socks. Try those out. Okay, so I have a half finished object, and that's this sock. It's cute. It's the same pattern I did for Ian's socks. It's the Very Pink Knits pattern for toe-up socks with Judy's Magic cast on and a German short row heel. So last time I did this heel, I had an issue with like holes all down the side of the heel, and I found a blog post about how to fix that, and it did go much better this time, but there are still holes at the end. And I picked up stitches at the end too. I picked up like, I don't know, four or six stitches on either side, and I still have that hole, which is super annoying. But it does look much better than the first time I did it. So the blog post had you split up the legs of the double stitches for the German short row heel and knit them with the next stitch, which did help. It feels fine on my foot. I did have to pick up those stitches, like I said, and then decrease them out, and I might have decreased them out too quickly, I think, because there's like a little bump more on this side than the other side. Right there. But again, I can't feel that, so it's fine. Somehow, I don't know how, this hasn't happened before, but I have like a pretty severe ladder on the side there, all the way up, and I don't know why. I pulled on my stitch, my second stitch every time. It seemed to close up just fine, so I think I probably just started out with it a little bit too loose, and then it just stayed that way the whole way up. Which could explain why this hole is here. It could just be my tension issue. I did drop a stitch here, so there's a little tiny hole there because of that, but it's okay. It's okay. So these are well on their way to being done. Second one has been cast on, so whenever I am riding the bus or whatever, I can bring that with me. Which is how I got like basically this entire sock done. It was almost entirely done on the bus, and the sock fits great. Like, I really do like it. This is not enough stitches for my foot though. Like, I have cankles. I have like real thick trunk-like legs, and this gets over my foot and like up my leg just fine, but if it was any longer, it wouldn't. So this is not my stitch count. I grabbed, so this is a gross old sock. So please don't mind it being stained and icky. It is clean. But so I counted all the stitches on this sock because this is my favorite like commercial sock. It fits really well. It's a good length. Yeah, it has, I wrote it down, 82. It has 82 stitches on the cuff. So yeah, the foot has 64 stitches. The cuff goes up to 82 stitches. So I have to increase 9 stitches for each side after the heel. And then I think that'll give me a much better fit. So I'm gonna use those stitch counts for the next sock that I do once I'm done with this one. To just see how that works out. This is also a cotton sock, but it's a cotton nylon sock, obviously, because it's a commercial sock. It's got plastic in it. So that's probably why it is so stretchy, even though it's cotton. And yeah, someday I'll see if I can knit cotton socks and have them not just like fall off my feet. That's the problem, because like wool in and of itself is like a stretchier fiber than cotton, so it has more like bounce back than cotton does. And the last thing I want are socks that fall down inside my shoes. I don't know what kind of heel I'm gonna do next. Probably not German short row, probably not whatever that wedge thing is. Yeah, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And then I'm probably gonna do them toe up because I like knitting toe up socks. And then since I'm doing a wider leg, yeah, a wider leg, I'll probably try to knit them a little bit longer, so that, like, you know, twice this length, so about 6 inches, so that I can have a longer pair of socks. But yeah, so that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on socks as of now. This could obviously change at any point, and probably will. And the bind off that I used was, I think it's Sheena's No Flare bind off. So I tried Jenny's surprisingly stretchy sock bind off, I think, for one of Ian's socks, and then I did Sheena's for the second sock. And I felt like they stretched about the same, really, but Sheena's did look nicer, like it doesn't flare like at all. It's just super nice and neat, and I like that. So yeah, I don't think that the problem is the bind off. I think the problem is just that I don't have enough stitches up here, and that's why it's not stretchy enough. It has nothing to do with the bind off. So yeah, I'll use that again for sure. It's great. So next I'm going to talk about something that I don't have to show you because I screwed it up so bad that I had to rip it out, which was super, super, super annoying. You have no idea. I was so mad. It's the September sweater by Petite Knit. And I started that and had to rip it out. We're not going to talk about that, but I'm using this yarn. Sorry, this is the ugliest ball. I ripped it out from the shawl that I knit last year. And these balls are all different sizes. I don't know how many, I could weigh it. But there are multiple 50-gram skeins in some of these. So that's why they look so funky. Also, I used the worst yarn baller ever to do that. So that's why they look like fucking shit. This is the yarn that I'm using for the September sweater. So it's the Wool of the Andes non-superwash yarn, worsted in the color Evergreen, which has been discontinued. It was discontinued like right after I bought it, actually, which was super annoying. Because I thought I needed more. Yeah, that shawl was a mess. That's why I ripped it out. I went down a needle size. I have no idea which one did get me gauge. Maybe I'll measure it. Maybe I'll do a gauge swatch before I start. I should do that. All right, I'll do a gauge swatch. How about that? A real one. But I didn't like the fabric that I was getting when I used the size needles that were called for, and I went down 2 sizes and I didn't like that fabric either, so I went back up 1. and that was pretty good. So whether or not that size gets me gauge because I like the fabric better, I am probably going to use one size down. The brioche is so great. Is whatever, you know, I don't have a thing right now because I had to rip it out. But I really like the brioche stitch. It was super squishy. It's a nice rhythm. I really enjoy that. I'm gonna love knitting this sweater. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. We will see. Hopefully, I think this pattern will be pretty forgiving in size. Like, I think in the pattern it tells you that this stitch pattern will grow. So maybe I should go down one size. Not a needle size, a pattern size. Yeah, I don't know. I'll do a swatch. It's a garment. I should really do a swatch, even though it's not superwash yarn. Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like what I did work on, I really enjoyed working on. The pattern, from what I've read so far, I mean, I've gone through the pattern, but I haven't like done those steps. So what I've read so far for what I've done has made sense. Yeah, super into it. Next, we have my yarn going everywhere. We have an update for the Campfire Cozy shawl. Where's did that thing fall off? Oh my God. That's so annoying. All right, well, I've got to put my stitch marker back on there to tell me the front and the back. I don't really need it, but like I would prefer to have it because otherwise I'll get confused. So I did get through this whole garter section, which took a million years, and I am on to the stockinette section. I've done a few rows of that. Oh, because I was looking at the wrong end, my gosh. All right, so this is the right way up. And I have to finish the stockinette section, and then there is a ribbed section, and then it's done. So yeah, super excited for that. The rows have gotten insanely long. I don't know how many hundreds of stitches there are on this right now. It's like, I think it's about 400. It's a lot of stitches. So this is like a blanket. It's enormous. But let's see what it looks like on right now. There. Can you see? I'm in love with it. I think it's fantastic. I love the lace pattern. It's a lot of fun to do, and it just looks great. Yeah. Really excited to have that finished. Really not happy that it's been so warm this winter. I realized it actually just became winter, but like in the Midwest, it usually ends up being colder than this by now. And it's like in the 40s, which would have been nice in like October when it was in like the 70s, maybe even the 80s part of October. Like it's just been so warm. I hate it. I just want it to snow. I want it to be like a little bit chilly. Come on. Like I'm like so hot in my house most of the time. It's not great. So hopefully next time I see you, that shawl will be done. I did make a mistake in like the middle ridge somehow. I don't know. One of my stitch markers must have fallen off, and then I put it back on, but I put it back on in the wrong place because like the stitches moved off center one, and then I figured out that had happened at some point, and so I pushed it back. Don't know how that worked out, but I was on the right amount of stitches and everything was fine. I have no clue how that happened or whatever. All right, and then the last thing I have to show you is my progress on this dress. I am to the point where I'm sewing the lining to the dress. And so I'm just sewing around the armpits, the arm size. It's a strapped, sleeveless. It's a sleeveless dress. So I have to put the straps on. I got the pockets in, and yeah, I'm just lining it now, and then I'll put the straps on, and then I will figure out how I'm gonna do the eyelets and the ties and everything. So yeah, not a ton of progress. Haven't felt like sewing very much lately. But it's getting there. And yeah, I should have definitely done French seams on the lining, but I didn't. So we'll see how long this dress even lasts. I might have to redo that at some point. I hope you're having a great winter. I hope you had a wonderful solstice. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, hope to see you again. Thanks for watching. I need some water. My throat hurts.